talking about the digital divide in Los Angeles. And do we have connection? Kathleen,
Hi.
how are you?
Very well, thank
All
you.
right, you're on.
Okay. Well, we first of all wanted to thank you so much for inviting us to participate today, and also thank Professor Simran Sethi for inviting us and for sponsoring this important summit. For the sake of saving some time today, I will be referring to our organization, Crossing the Digital Divide, as CDD throughout this presentation. CDD has been bringing computer training to adults in recovery for the past 7 years. As of March of this year, we had successfully trained and graduated over 1,000 students. Our students, as was earlier explained, are adults coming out of prisons and gangs who are trying to turn their lives around and to rebuild their future. Most of our students have no computer training and are very intimidated by technology. They often struggle with language skills, which only exacerbates the learning process. When we started CDD 7 years ago, we had no idea whether this population of adults would be willing or interested in learning. What we have come to discover is, as was also explained, not only are they interested, they are yearning for more opportunities to learn. I would like to share some brief thoughts about our experience with you and then offer some sample of our success stories. I often think about the last scene in the movie Planet of the Apes, the scene where the ape hurls a jawbone straight up into the air. We watch as the bone travels quickly through space and time, landing all at once in the 20th century. One toss of the wrist creates a series of events resulting in the advancement of human civilization. I am sure we all wish there was such a quick and easy way to rid the world of its socio-economic problems, a silver bullet, as it were. There may be no silver bullet when it comes to overcoming the huge divide between the haves and have-nots in the world. However, in my experience as CEO and executive director of CDD, computers come very close. We watch an almost instantaneous transformation take place when a student simply places their hands on a keyboard and mouse. They do seem to sit up a little straighter and see themselves in a different light. Their self-confidence and hope is increased with each click of the mouse as the student becomes more confident and full of pride. As though this student has been hurled into the new world, they have in fact taken a giant step across the digital divide. That is in large part the power of technology, and I know I am preaching to the choir today. With its unique ability to connect people across geographic borders, across economic divides, across cultural, religious, and the myriad of other ways we humans are divided. I think everyone listening today would agree that computers truly are the great equalizer. But another type of divide is being crossed in CDD classrooms that we did not expect or plan. This is what we have come to affectionately describe as a little love affair. Something happens between our students and instructors when these two utterly diverse groups are brought together in the classroom. Fear and doubt of each other is replaced with respect and a greater understanding of the other's experience. Our students, having recently come out of a prison or gang, look tough, bald heads, tattoos, piercings, but they ooh and ah at the latest paintbrush application. They will line up at the end of the class just to shake the hands of our instructors. Their gratitude is overwhelming and very humbling. Our instructors face their own surprises in the classroom, admitting that they would probably cross the street in a normal setting to avoid some of our students. But in the classroom, they are inspired by a student who has seemingly nothing to look forward to or any reason to hope, but who shows up early to each class, excited to learn, who waits after class to ask more questions, whose handwritten student story sets goals of building a new business, starting their own organizations, reestablishing relationships with their families, and remaining clean and sober. There are some students that our correctional system, are the same students that our correctional system would have locked away and thrown away the key. I do not mean to oversimplify the situation. California and the rest of the states have some very serious offenders in their systems, but we too often do not take the time to listen to their stories or find out about their backgrounds, to hear their hopes and dreams for a better future. Let me end my presentation with a couple of examples of our student stories from CDD class. This might answer the question of just how quickly a computer literacy class can turn things around for someone. There was a story of Bill, who was taking our 6-week class. Bill had just been released from prison after 25 years. He had been struggling just to learn the basic computer skills. On the day when the class was to go online for the first time, everyone was very quiet as they began to do some simple online searching. Suddenly a shriek went out. It was Bill. He exclaimed that he had found a message from his daughter posted on genealogy.com. His daughter had been searching for her dad. Bill had not spoken with his daughter for 17 years. The instructor took steps to contact the daughter and was able to reconnect the two before the completion of our 6-week class. Then there was Jeannie, who had learned how to complete a resume and job application online. Jeannie was filled with confidence by this experience, so much so that she had applied and arranged for several interviews within a very short time. Jesse and Juan have both become counselors now at our recovery centers, our partner centers, and both attribute the computer training that they received from CDD to being instrumental in their success. There are hundreds of similar stories of inspiration that are posted on our website. Our organization, like so many other nonprofits, is an essential part of forming a stronger community. Technology is at the heart of the process. We are forming a bridge one by one, story upon story, which help tie individuals together and help make our very large, very diverse world feel a bit more like home. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, thank you very much, Kathleen. We are taking questions on Twitter, and I'm pulling them up. A lot of us understand the importance of just a kind of a basic computer literacy when it comes to finding a job. But there's a kind of a misconception about addiction and alcohol abuse, that it's simply just about not using or not drinking. Can you speak a little bit about the importance of kind of reconstructing one's life as far as like occupation or whatever, how important that is to recovery?
I think I can, and of course the problem is that so often when there is an addiction problem, then a person goes down a very downward spiraling road in which they begin to commit crimes in order to satisfy that addiction. And so they end up, of course, in the prison system. And then there's little support for either the recovery process or learning new job skills. So part of it also is a stigma that is associated with being an addict, and then of course being a criminal. And so it just compounds. So there's an entire mindset that has to change where the self-confidence is reestablished, and family ties, as well as throwing out perhaps old relationships that are unhealthy and sort of restarting one's life all over again.
All right. Fellow student Stephen Gray has a question.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
What kind of technology skills specifically do you teach your students that go to your courses?
Yeah. And this is also posted on our website. So in case anyone would like to see exactly what we teach, it's all listed there. But the problem there is that we have to start with the very basics, because these are adults who, of course, they're dealing with their recovery issue. That's their number one job. But now we want to teach them this new skill. So we literally have to start with how to right-click, how to save files, and the learning process it does go fairly quickly after the basics. But once we get through that, we do go through Word, and they are asked to write and present a 500-word paper, which sometimes is the thing that they groan about the most, because there is an illiteracy issue as well with this group. But in fact, the paper has turned out to be the thing, I think, for which they're the most proud.
Thank you very